I recently had a patient encounter that I need to tell you the story about. But this one's gonna be a little different than our usual patient encounter stories. This time, she's gonna tell you herself.
It really hit me, the whole experience. It woke me up at 4 a.m. I knew something was wrong, couldn't really define what was it. I could have easily passed in my sleep. When I tell you I'm lucky to be alive, I am really lucky to be alive. He is really my guardian angel.
Huge thanks to Elsevier for sponsoring this video, whose complete anatomy library of anatomical images and graphics will be used to help tell this story.
I am Rachel Denis-Morisseau. In October, I woke up around 4 o'clock in the morning. My chest felt tight. I had difficulty breathing. I was nauseous. I had pain going down my left arm. Somebody was pressing on my chest and I couldn't catch my breath. That was how I was feeling. I knew something was wrong, couldn't really define what was it. The chest pain lasted a few hours.
This was a typical primary care office day for me. I see one of my usual patients on the schedule. She's coming in for a recurrent back issue. I've been seeing her for many years as a patient for all sorts of things, given that I'm her primary care physician. I walk in, we give our usual hug, say hello. I start asking her about her back issues and hip issues, and I begin to do my physical exam. But in doing my physical exam, when we start chatting, she tells me that she wants to mention an episode of something that occurred a couple of days ago that was at the top of her mind.
I explained to him the symptom. It woke me up at 4 a.m.
Kind of thought something was happening in my arm. I thought maybe I slept on it weird.
Chest tightness.
Started getting a little short of breath. I didn't know if it was anxiety.
Felt nauseous.
I said, hold on a second. I think we should change the visit from focusing on your low back and to focus on this issue, because not only do the symptoms that you're talking about trigger a lot of tests and things I need to ask in my mind, you also seem to be quite emotional about these symptoms. So I said, before we move any further, I want to get an EKG right now. The CMA comes into the room, does the EKG. I look at it and I realize I need to print out her previous EKG to compare. A lot of times when someone already has a heart attack, their EKG changes at baseline from the previous EKG that you may have gotten before the heart attack, and it does look different. There are some non-specific changes. None that are clearly showing that she had a heart attack, but ones that are pointing me in a direction of concern.
I don't think we saw anything that was critical at that moment because my symptoms were non-existent by the time I saw him. He still looked at me and said, I don't like this. Let's do a cardiac consult.
She was pushing me to write it off, to say, look, we got the EKG, there's no obvious heart attack, my symptoms are gone, I think we can move on. If it comes back, maybe then I'll go. And it took a little bit of time, discussion, explanation, which should always happen in a doctor's visit. Get her urgent referral, and I have her word that she's gonna make an appointment. When she comes in the following week, I'm excited to see her, hoping that she got a good report from the cardiologist, that everything worked out. And I'm gonna see her for her back pain now. I ask her, how is the cardiologist? And she smiles and she goes, look, I had no pain. I made an appointment, but it's a few months away. I said, what? I gave you an urgent referral and you took an appointment 2 months from now?
He goes, no, I need you to be seen sooner. He picked up his phone.
I text my cardiologist friend, Dr. Fishberg, and I tell him, hey, I really need this patient urgently in. Can we get this patient in? She has an appointment later, but I need it urgent.
I was scheduled for an echocardiogram and a regular stress test. My stress test was fine. I had problem breathing when I was doing the exercise, but my heart did not show anything on the stress test. However, on the echo, the top part of my heart, you could see that ventricle, like the muscle was pumping very strongly. But the bottom one, it was sluggish. So he knew something was wrong. And he said, yeah, you had a heart attack.
moderate basilar inferior hypokinesis. There's a section of her heart that is not moving normally. She gets sent for a CTA, which is basically angiography, where you're able to see dye that is shot through the arteries. And you could see it on the scan, what that flow looks like, and you could see if there's any blockages.
The result came in. One of the sentences I remember, it says over 70% occlusion. And being in the medical field, I know, oh no, so that means I have a blockage.
The heart pumps blood to the brain, to the muscles, upper, lower limbs, but it also needs to supply its own muscles. So when someone's having a heart attack, what essentially is happening is they're having a blockage in one of these arteries that then causes that heart muscle to die.
It was a lot, like trying to process it. Because now I am at that phase where, oh my goodness, I really had a heart attack. Now I need to do a catheterization. At one point prior to me being taken in, I got overwhelmed. It really hit me that,
What?
like the whole experience. And I cried for a little bit, right? No big bowler, but tear was coming down that, yes, I'm on the table. I'm lucky to be here, but yeah, I had a heart attack. My blockage was over 90% on my right coronary artery, over 90%. So when I tell you I'm lucky to be alive, I am really lucky to be alive.
Luckily, we were able to get her in to have the stent placed, to put her on the correct medical therapy, and begin her in cardiac rehab.
During my first day of cardiac rehab, what I noticed in that room was a lot of men. I think I was the only woman at that moment. And I turned around to the nurse. I'm like, does guy have more heart attack than women? And she goes, no. I'm like, really? Why? How come I'm the only one here? She goes, the women take care of everybody else but themselves. When I was having those episodes, I wasn't thinking about myself. I needed to go to work, I needed to do this. But that was the reminder that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to listen to our body. Because if we don't do that, we may not be around the next day to take care of everybody else.
The first question that a lot of my patients and even friends have when I share this story is like, what did you hear from her so I know if that thing happens to me, I know what to do. And this is where the beauty of family medicine comes in. In that moment, as she's describing those symptoms, I saw a bit of emotion come out, a bit of fear that I normally don't see in her when she's talking about her physical symptoms. And that small perception that I had would have been easy to miss. If I was just an urgent care provider seeing her for the first time, it would have been so easy to just write it off because she herself was writing it off. If you're having MI symptoms, chest pain, radiating to the left arm, potentially going up to the jaw, dizziness, shortness of breath, it's not going away, it gets worse with activity, it came on at rest. These are all red flag symptoms that you have to go get evaluated. When I was in medical school, maybe even the decades prior to me being in medical school, the description of an MI used to be elephants sitting on your chest and you can't catch your breath. Well, that is pretty much a white guy's definition or description of what a heart attack feels like. In our research, we haven't truly gotten good enough descriptors from women about their cardiovascular diseases, about their MIs. So for so many years, we've been missing all of these heart attacks in women, and as a result, we've been getting worse outcomes. That's why I'm so passionate in working with the American Heart Association in getting advocacy, the word out, for women to take their heart health seriously. There she is.
Hello, my
Who's
darling.
my official influencer now?
Oh, stop it.
Do you feel like you're gonna make a difference now?
I hope so.
I think you will, because this is just an email I got from existing stuff that came in literally this morning, and I thought, What good timing. I want you to check this out. I started watching the channel for entertainment personality that Dr. Mike has, but learned along the way as well. Recently, my mom had a heart attack and her symptoms did not present the way men do, instead having some that Dr. Mike mentioned in his video. Because I watched, I was able to realize she was having a heart attack and got her to the hospital where they could treat her, as my family was going to treat it as a panic attack if I had not known the symptoms of a heart attack being potentially different for women, which I only knew because of one of those videos.
That is amazing.
So imagine what your video is going to do.
I hope so, because I didn't listen. If Dr. Mike did not prompt me and did not have that sense of urgency on my behalf, I probably would not have taken any actions. I have another condition, sleep apnea. So that's when I stopped breathing in the middle of the night. We having a heart that's not getting full blood and stop breathing in the middle of the night, I could have easily passed in my sleep.
I'm so glad that Rochelle wanted to be a part of this video because I think the impact of it could be truly invaluable. And of course, upon sharing the story with the American Heart Association, they said that she needs to be a VIP guest at their annual Red Dress event.
I didn't think I was going to be one of the statistics, but I am. I'm very happy to be here and actually celebrate and promote women's health.
Let's do it. Huge thanks again to Complete Anatomy by Elsevier for providing so much of the medical imagery in this video so we can continue educating the world to stay happy and healthy. If you'd like to learn more about anatomy and the human body yourself, click the link in the description and get Complete Anatomy today. The human heart has a pretty bizarre history. Click here to check that out. As always, stay happy and healthy.